Welcome back to The Great Journey,
The
Great
Great
Journey.
book club podcast where we delve into the world of Halo one installment at a time, covering the books, graphic novels, films, and of course the games, and we'll be talking about them in a very informal and fun way. My name's Charlie. I'll be your host again this evening. I'm filling in for James, who unfortunately could not be here despite having hosting duties, so I think he owes us.
Had the wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, he owes us one. He owes me one for sure. Please welcome back my fellow co-hosts, Robbie, Jim, Tom, Will, and that's everyone, right?
That's it.
Right.
I don't appreciate the way you said my name,
It
though.
took you a while to get there.
Yeah. You really had to spit that one out, man.
Throwing
Like
off
it's just
here.
been a while.
Yeah.
Last episode, we covered the first half of the Fall to Reach comic. We saw a glimpse into the world of Colonel Watts and the rebellion affecting the outer colonies. Once again, we followed the story of John and his fellow recruits as they were kidnapped as children, conscripted into the UNSC, trained and combat tested, and physically augmented to become super soldiers. Whew, that's a long sentence. We finished out with humanity's first contact with the Covenant and Spartan Samuel's valiant sacrifice to prove that the enemy can be defeated. So, today we're just going to continue on with the Fall of Reach comic, which is written by Brian Reed and illustrated by Felix Ruiz. Everyone read the comic, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Right.
You know it.
Well, let me guess because we're already halfway through. What'd you guys think of the first half of the comic? This question is to Tom and Jim, I guess.
Go for it, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I mean, we know the story, right? So that was, I guess, not all that surprising, but it was really nice to have like really cool visuals to go along with the story. That was the part that I really appreciated. Because you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. It was cool.
Yeah, it's fun to see like two kind of different interpretations of the same story, just visually and artistically, since we watched the
Mhm.
movie. And then now to get to see another kind of reinterpretation of all the ships and the people and some of the sets.
Yep.
Is really cool.
Yeah, we talked about the artwork last week briefly. I get into a little bit more tonight. I would say, yeah, for most part, the comic is following the book pretty well, but we did talk about some additions, and I think there's probably more coming. So, glad you guys are liking it. All right, we're gonna kick off the second half here. We're now 27 years on, and we're thrown into action with a group of Marines on the planet surface of Sigma-Octanus 4. They're able to hold off attacking Banshees, only to find that the city of Côte d'Azur was terribly damaged. The Marines raise the Leviathan on Fleetcom, but instead of being evacuated, they are sent a lone pelican of reinforcements. Off steps Master Chief and a group of Spartans, announcing they will take the planet back from the Covenant. The Spartans split in different teams. Their goals are both to gather intel on the Covenant interests on the planet, as well as detonate a nuke and destroy them all. Meanwhile, Captain Jacob Keyes and his ship, the Iroquois, along with the UNSC fleet, are preparing to defend the planet from incoming Covenant forces. The repair station, the Cradle, takes the brunt of the initial attack, allowing the UNSC fleet to volley shots back. Amid the battle, Keyes notices a lone Covenant ship picking up transmissions from the planet's surface and intervenes. Ramming into the vessel, they destroy it. They begin to pick up the transmission and record it for ONI intel. Back on the planet's surface, the Spartans observe the Covenant forces from the sewer system below. Curious as to their purpose here, Chief and Blue Team plant their nuke before entering the Covenant-guarded museum in search of answers. They come across the source of the transmission beam, but before they can destroy it, they're confronted by a pack of hunters. James loses his arm to a plasma cannon. The Spartans are able to destroy them by toppling a pillar upon them. Chief grabs the transmitting beacon, and they attempt to make their escape through swarms of grunts and jackals. They make their way back to Camp Alpha and detonate the nuke as they fly off planet. After the battle, the Iroquois is visited by the Oni stealth ship, and the transmission data they receive of the planet is confiscated. The Spartans return on board. The ship is ordered back to Planet Reach. They prepare to go to subspace, but unknown to those on board, a Covenant tracking device attaches itself to the ship. Ooh. All right. So that's our first part here tonight. What'd you guys think?
Well, I could
Every time
have.
we talk about the, oh, sorry, go ahead, Rob.
Oh, I was just gonna say, doesn't seem like this comic book has done a lot of at least some of the space battles, and I mean that I like what they've shown to try to visualize it, but I was a little disappointed they didn't go more into depth onto it. They kind of just jumped right in like halfway through, missing what was it, keys? Was it loop? Keys loop?
Yeah.
Was it? What was it called?
Yep, it was a keys loop. They completely omitted that part.
I was really confused when I first read it. I was trying to figure out what was going on because that was a huge part of the book.
Yeah, it definitely sets him up as like a major character at that point. But here we just kind of visit him again, 27 plus years on from our first introduction to him. And you know, it's just kind of a sudden introduction.
Right. Yeah, the Keys loop really sets him up as like somebody who's on par of capability with like the Spartans.
Makes him like a master tactician and like a hero.
Yeah. They take that away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting all the stuff between the three things, like the animated movie we watched, the book that we read, and this, all the differences, the stuff they decided to add or take away. It's just interesting.
They kind of changed that whole introduction scene here with the Marines as well, where in the book they had the one Marine that was kind of like comatose, not coma, like yeah, I guess comatose. He wasn't like he was so scared he wasn't doing anything. They changed that up.
I really like how they depict the battle with the hunter when they first run into them in the museum.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. Well, I'm just trying to scroll to it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just showing like how massive these things are compared to the Spartans, who, the Spartans are like already super big humans, especially in their armor, and these things are literally like lumbering over them.
Yeah, especially that one perspective they're showing when it's full page of just the Spartans and the, it just looks massive. So that would just be for something they haven't seen before. That would be just a huge shock.
And talking about that scene, I guess I pictured the rock that the hunters were transporting. I kind of pictured like this little thing that it said fit in like a little case or something. But in the book here, it looks like it's a pretty big object.
That's
Which I
so
guess,
funny because I was thinking the same thing.
yeah,
That was just like something that you would hold in your hand.
yeah.
I think it is. Well, there's like the giant monolith thing that like falls over on him. But then I'm looking at I don't see page numbers in here. But it looks like a little purple thing that he
Do you have the print version?
yeah.
Oh, me too. Yeah, mine doesn't have page numbers either.
Oh.
So
It's I don't know. They grab it and it looks like it's like maybe large for your hand, but it looks like he can grab it with his hand.
Like a large potato.
Like a large potato, yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it. You're
Are you
right.
guys
You guys are
imagining
right.
I guess I was imagining something smaller than a large potato, but yeah.
And I mean, the Spartans are huge too. So that's like
That's a large
probably
potato.
like, that is a large potato. Feed a lot of Dublin.
I guess yeah, it doesn't really look like it almost looks like a ruby or like a gemstone or something.
Yeah.
It was just different than what I was picturing from what we read in the book. But did you guys notice that all the Spartans in this little section, like blue team has like blue painted armbands, and I think red team had red armbands and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the blue stripes.
It's kind of cool.
I haven't read a whole lot of comic books, but I love all the brackas and thooms and
Boom.
pows.
Yeah,
Like
I'm with
in-
you, Tom.
Yeah.
Kind of everything. Same. Haven't read a lot, and I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Brating.
Pretend.
Yeah, do you ever think those descriptions are kind of not what you're picturing either?
No, I didn't imagine the guns to go
What?
bracka.
Yeah. Bracka.
I guess it is a funny way to spell it, but like in the games, I'm just started playing Halo 2, and like the SMG does kind of sound like bragga 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 bragga
Okay.
bragga.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Anything else to say on this section? Oh,
Bragga bragga.
bracka. We'll keep moving on. In the orbit of Planet Reach, Doppler, the AI assigned to Gamma orbital space station, welcomes the UNSC circumference on board. A mysterious individual accesses a restricted area of the station and proceeds to wipe the existence of the ship from the station's database, including Doppler's memory. Operation Hypodermic proceeds as planned. Meanwhile, Captain Keyes debriefs before a board of ONI operatives. Keyes does not weigh in on the mysterious transmission that he helped to intercept, but does respond when asked about a specific class of ship. Although nearly indestructible, the Halcyon class ships were slow and not fit for combat. Keyes is then surprised to learn that he is reassigned to captain one of these ships, the Pillar of Autumn. Chief, on the other hand, is surgically upgraded for a new neural interface. He learns that he will receive the upgraded Mjolnir Mark IV armor, which includes Covenant shield technology, and an AI core that will allow an advanced AI to assist during battle. Chief is introduced to Cortana, a program with the best Covenant language translation and insurgent capabilities available. However, the duo is immediately tested when Chief is ambushed and forced to proceed through an obstacle course. Chief and Cortana neutralize the ODSTs, traverse a minefield, and destroy the Sentinel guns. In the final test, Chief and Cortana work as one to deflect an incoming missile and successfully complete the course. Chief admits that he would not have been able to do that without her. Meanwhile, aboard the Fermion sensing outpost, their slipstream probes return very ominous information. Objects are rapidly approaching, and it is very large mass. Emerging from subspace are over 700 Covenant warships. With their fleet comm connection infiltrated, and without time to initiate the Cole protocol, the captain on board overloads their fusion chambers and blows the station apart. Dramatic scene there.
I got a question. Do we know who erased the stuff on the ship?
Yep, that was definitely an addition here in the comic that we didn't. Well, I guess in the book, it was told in the version of like a correspondence or like an email or something, that happened. In the book here, we see like a mysterious figure walk in and erase that data. So I don't think. Well, we definitely don't know who it is, and I don't think we're supposed to know. I don't think it's that important. Definitely different than the book.
Yeah, now I'm super curious as to who did it and why.
Yeah, that's definitely something interesting. Would want to get a little more clarity because that seems just odd.
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
Why would he go and delete this stuff?
I think we raised that question when we were reading it in the book as well. It's just like why was this ship just sitting there completely available, when the inevitable happens. I mean, we're getting there, but it's definitely like I don't know. I said at the time that it's very suspicious. And this comic with this dude just walking in here, erasing everything, it just adds to that suspicion.
I like how they're operating on John and they're cutting the back of his neck open and he's just like talking to them like nothing's going on. Just like
I did think it was cool, kind of how when he became an adult, they hid his face pretty much
Yeah.
in every scene in some form or fashion.
It's funny. Charlie pointed that out last discussion.
wait,
Ah,
wait, Tom, were you here last week?
no,
Oh, okay.
I missed it.
All good. It's cool that you picked up on that because, yeah, it was definitely an interesting way for them to circumvent the character without the helmet on the whole time, but
Mhm.
also keep it in line with what we know from the game. So, yeah,
That's super cool that both of you guys noticed that because that totally flew over my head.
Yeah, same here. So
Yeah, they do a really good job of being subtle
Mhm.
about it. It's cool. Good touch.
you're gonna say something, Rob?
kind of maybe change gears a little bit. I thought it was interesting that they added the whole briefing with Captain Keyes. That was definitely a new addition. I don't remember that from the book.
No,
Oh.
I don't think so, right?
Well,
Yeah.
we know Keys got debriefed because he meets Chief on the way out of his meeting.
Yep.
Remember? So I guess yeah. I mean, this is definitely an addition here in the comic, but I forget the scene exactly where he was told that he would be the captain of the Pillar of Autumn, but it was definitely different than what they did here. They kind of
Yeah.
condensed it to a quick section right now.
Yeah, I thought it was Halsey and Cortana like talking back and forth about it, which is another scene they cut, right? The intro to Cortana with Halsey.
Yep.
Yeah. So you don't get to see that Cortana chose Chief.
Right.
Yeah, we don't get to see Cortana thirsting over Chief.
Oh, we had a big old discussion about that. Um, yeah, no, well, that was kind of that was a cool scene from the book that yeah they completely cut out here.
Yeah, this obstacle course was not what I was picturing in my head.
Same with the maze and just the surprise sentry guns and that part. I was totally picturing something else. I was just picturing like an open field or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they added the maze and they added the sentry guns that we didn't. I don't think were in the book, but the a flying whatever it's called the
Scorpion or whatever, right? No, they're called helicopter things.
Skyhawk is what they called it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that was pretty much what I was picturing. And then it was also cool that they like cut between that scene real quick to the the people on board the sensing outpost station. So it was kind of like a quick cut back and forth. I kind of like how they did that. Like I could picture that in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, just something general about the comic book. Maybe this is all comic books, but I had a hard time following like scene changes because like everything was so visual. It was like I had to like really think like, oh, okay, now we're in we're with different characters now. Also, like everybody looked the same to me. So I always had a really
Yeah.
hard time picking other like who like keys out from other people and stuff, and didn't help. And all the Spartans look pretty much the same for the most part, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, especially because we don't really know what these characters really look like, um, you know, from the game or anything. So I guess we know Halsey, but I don't think Halsey looks like Halsey in this comic. I agree with Bill Tom that yeah, it was kind of sometimes it was a little bit jarring the transitions.
Yeah, I mean they had the like blue text boxes, but those are pretty small.
I'll admit, just like James did last week, this was also my first comic I think I've read. So
Same.
I think I read a Spawn comic once when I was like 9.
what's Spawn?
You don't know what Spawn
You ever
is?
saw them? Never heard Spawn? You ever see the movie with Michael Jai White?
No.
Oh, dude.
With
Classic.
Keith David, I think voice actor. He's the voice actor for Spawn, right?
I don't know about
Which
in the I don't remember. There was a cartoon too. I don't remember who did it in the cartoon. But anyway, Spawn's like an anti-hero dude. Makes a deal with the devil. It's pretty sweet.
okay, so yeah, Keith David, he does the voice acting for Spawn in the cartoon, which he also does the voice acting for the Arbiter in the Halo games.
Oh
Nice,
shit!
a nice
Cowbell.
connection right there.
Bringing it all back around. Yeah, nice.
Full circle. Well, I mean, we'll get to him eventually.
Yeah, he's a legend. We'll get to him.
That sultry voice of his.
Yeah, so Cortana, Chief, working together, kicking ass, first time.
I feel like they made it more obvious that Colonel Ackerson was just trying to sabotage the whole test run or whatever.
Yeah.
Showing,
Straight up trying to kill Chief and Cortana.
yeah,
Right. He's the guy that Cortana like ruins his
Yeah,
life, right?
yeah.
After all that.
I'm not sure if this was part of the section, but I thought it was kind of cool how they kind of depicted Cortana doing like multiple things within like a split second, just showing like all the different things she could see and go through and what she does. And
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's when she's messing with Ackerson, and yeah, I was gonna. Did I have that in here? No.
I probably jumped ahead, so that's my bad.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it next section, but it's good. One thing I have noted here, the comic said that 700 ships were coming to, like Reach's Way, and for some reason in my mind, I thought that in the book it was like more like 300 ish. I don't know why I had that number, but I was curious what you guys remember from that scene.
I think you're right with the 300.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
the big thing I remembered was that they mentioned in the book, like early battles, they outnumbered the Covenant 3-1, but this time they were outnumbered 3-1. And I'm with you. I thought it was like 300 to like 100.
Yeah, I can't. I guess I'd have to go back and look it up to see if there's a specific number or something. But
Fact
here
check.
they're talking about 700, which is a crazy amount. So, all right. Last section's kind of a long one. Are we good to move on?
Yeah, I'm good.
Alrighty. Buckle up. I got multiple paragraphs here with a thrilling conclusion. Cortana reviews the diagnostics on the Pillar of Autumn, and everything appears to be in good status. It appears that Keyes and his crew are joined by the remaining Spartans, and they are all involved with the classified Oni operation called Red Flag. On the side, Cortana digs up information on Chief Halsey and Colonel Ackerson. The latter she decides to enact a little revenge for nearly killing them in the armor test. Halsey debriefs the Spartans, and the details of Red Flag emerge. They're tasked with finding and taking a Covenant prophet hostage to help broker a truce or peace negotiations. Chief argues that the Covenant likely do not want peace, but dutifully accepts the mission. However, before they can set off, the massive Covenant fleet suddenly emerges, and the Pillar of Autumn is trapped in the middle of a titanic battle. Keyes begins work to find Chief a Covenant ship which to board, and they can take the prophet hostage. Like Sigma Octanus, the Covenant begin landing forces on the surface, but Cortana reveals another issue. The stealth ship Circumference is still docked at Gamma Station, and its previous removal from network means that it cannot initiate the Cole Protocol, and therefore holds the precious location of Earth for the Covenant to find. Keyes and Chief's mission changes, and the Spartans engage. Chief leads Linda and James to Gamma Station. The rest deploy to the surface to fight off the invaders. We shift the perspective to Red Team, where Spartans Fred, Kelly, and Joshua fight off attacking Banshees in an effort to protect the orbital mat guns. Their Pelican is damaged and they crash land upon the surface of Reach. Meanwhile, Blue Team approaches Gamma Station but is cut off by Covenant ship emerging from slipspace. The Pelican is damaged and is thrown into Gamma Station just as the Covenant begin to breach. Back on board Autumn, Keyes and Cortana notice the Covenant ships must power up after they emerge from slipspace. They start attacking the ships as they emerge, but the Covenant strategy appears deliberate in order to more quickly attack the orbital MAC guns. Keyes surmises that they are willingly sacrificing their ships to win the battle. More problems emerge, however. A massive Covenant ship begins to snipe UNSC ships with fatal one-shot laser. Keyes engages the ship and, using Cortana to help dodge its shots, is able to destroy the enemy with MAC rounds and rockets. However, the Autumn has taken damage and can only run at diminished power. We're going to go back and forth here real quick. On the surface of Reach, Red Team has protected the orbital defense generator from one wave of the Covenant attack and prepares for another. At Gamma Station, Blue Team blows their way into the station under fire from Jackals. Spartan James take a shot and is fatally wounded. Red Team continues to fight off further hordes of Covenant infantry. Blue Team is pushed for time by Keyes, who has no other choice than to nuke the station if they cannot wipe the data aboard Circumference quickly. In the hangar, a group of Marines led by the Sergeant Johnson deliberately holds off swarms of Covenant. Red Team loses contact with the Pillar of Autumn, and they're running low on ammunition. Despite considering retreating, they valiantly continue holding their position. Blue Team loads the Marines into a Pelican and blows the bridge of the Circumference open. Chief locates the nav system and destroys it. At the same time, Linda opens the hangar doors and makes their escape, but is badly wounded for Elite's energy sword. Chief is able to get her to a cryo chamber, but by now the battle for Reach has become untenable. Last section here. Captain Keyes refuses Chief to search for survivors on Reach. Instead, they will escape and live to fight another day. Keyes orders Cortana to jump to a random vector for the Cole protocol, but as she calculates, Chief comments that he thought the symbols looked familiar. Cortana, curious as to Chief's instincts, investigates the data and finds details not revealed from the transmission back on Sigma Octanus. She realizes the symbols reveal an ancient star map and plans her vector accordingly. 20 days later, the Pill of Autumn emerges from slipspace, badly damaged from the battle. They pick up a radar echo and realize that they've stumbled upon something artificial. They approach the massive ring world, and Keyes and orders the people back to their battle stations. Halo begins. Oh. 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 Do you guys know that they play that every time you get a glimpse of the Halo? I'm talking
Really?
about it. Yeah.
Guess that makes sense.
I like how they show a lot more what's going on for Red Team on the surface.
Yep.
They're
Definitely.
totally outnumbered. They get stuck on Reach. I wonder what happens to them.
I think that was the coolest addition to the comic. Was we finally got to see battling on the surface, because the entire time I was reading The Fall of Reach, the book, I was picturing this massive battle, both in orbit, but also like on the ground, and we didn't see anything happen on the ground. So I am glad that in the comic here we got to see what happens to some of them. So
Yeah, that I love that addition. Kind of just showed exactly how screwed they were.
Is it safe to assume they're all dead?
it's never safe
I
to
mean,
assume.
Reach gets glassed as the Chief is like leaving, as the Pillar of Autumn's like taking off.
It's never safe to assume. At least in the comic here, we know that James gets killed. In the book, he just kind of like floats off, and I was confused about the fate of him. But
They're kind of unceremonious about it too. It's just like one panel where he just goes, "Ugh," and then that's it. And then they just immediately move on.
Yeah.
I'd also like to say on the point of the scenes showing everybody fighting on Reach, Sergeant Johnson has like the best line in the whole comic. Where one of the privates is like, "There's too many of them, sir," and he's like, "Don't count them, just shoot them."
Oh, my favorite one is actually the next page over where he just says, or you could die fighting like a Marine, and he just has this like big joy on his face as he's stabbing a jackal in the neck.
Yeah.
Love that edition
badass.
of him. Oh, totally.
Let's. I'm going back to, I guess, the start of this section is a long section. I'm sorry again. We get a little bit of background on Ackerson here, and we learn that he's actually like an ex Black Ops soldier. He's battled the Covenant time and time again, so he knows the enemy. And that, well, like the book, he was trying to fund his specific defense projects or special projects, to which, you know, Halsey got the funding for Spartans. So he's got obviously has that same like animosity towards Halsey and the Spartans, but at least we get a little bit more context on his character.
Yeah, he does actually seem like a hardo.
You mean a hardo?
Badass.
Oh, yeah, it does sound like a badass. Will, do you know anything about Ackerson? Like, is he a character in later
I no,
Halo?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he does show up somewhere else. Um, he definitely has a chip on his shoulder about, you know, the Spartan program, and he definitely hates Halsey.
I'm curious about the addition then, if we don't see him later, you know, what his purpose in this story is. Because he really didn't other I guess other than almost killing Chief and Cortana in that rocket ship thing, the purpose of him then would be nothing. And the question stems because if you watch the Halo TV show, he actually has a prominent.
No way.
Yep.
Really? Okay.
And here, I mean, once again, that's a character that I was not aware of, just being a casual Halo gamer. You know who this Ackerson guy was, but in the show, I won't spoil that for you guys that haven't watched it if you still want to watch it. Um, but he definitely has a bigger role, like a season long role. So anyway, curious what you guys thought about that.
Hey, do you get to see the aftermath of his wife finding out he spent a bunch of money at a brothel in the show?
In the show, no,
Oh,
I don't think so. Not in the show.
sorry, Will.
So, it's okay. So they show a bunch of like the space battles and the massive fleets fighting each other. But I do wish like on the ground, like reaches this like massive, basically like military planet. And I also wish they would have shown like big battles between like just normal Marines and fighting the hordes of Covenant. I feel like that would have been pretty sweet to see depicted.
Yeah, how would like a normal human marine match up to like a single grunt? Do we know that?
They always seem to have problems with him in the games. But um yeah, I'm not sure. But I do know that even though the grunts look small, they're still like I think they're like 5 or 6 feet tall.
We
They're
sure
Oh,
large.
about
wow.
that? I think they're
Yeah.
like 3'5", right? I mean, that's what I thought. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was picturing more like 4 foot or something like that.
All right, from Halo Wiki,
Halopedia.
they're about 5.5 feet tall on average.
No
Jesus
way.
Christ, what the hell?
What?
How
And
does that even
I
make sense?
That
I
doesn't
I,
make sense to me.
I know that
Yeah.
because I saw a photograph from this thing called Outpost Discovery, which was like it was put on by 343, and they went to different cities, and it was like basically like a specific Halo fandom event thing. Anyway, they had a wall with like actual feet marks and then silhouettes of characters, so you can like stand next to Chief, sort of thing, you know. And I was like, I saw the thing for the grunt, and I was like, holy shit, that's actually pretty big. So
I can't even imagine.
that is to answer your question in the way that I think the Marines probably would still have issues fighting off grunts. They're not they're not good with the pistol enough to headshot each one, like Robbie said he could. So, mm, did you guys notice when um, Halsey was like she was talking about that crazy mission, and she shows um, pictures of like the Covenant. So we actually got to see like you know jackals and grunts and stuff on this like hologram. But if you notice, there was also elites and brutes in that hologram. And I remember from the book, um, we weren't supposed to have seen elites at this point, right?
I think you're right.
Yep.
Because they were arguing about like, oh, there's a prophet class and or
A warrior
like
class.
a religious class and a warrior class. And then brutes, there's a brute in that hologram too, and we straight up haven't even heard of them yet. So
That's a good catch because I did not notice the brute, but I'm looking at him now.
yeah, I wish this thing had. Oh, here we go. Wish this thing had page numbers. Yeah, you have grunts. You have the hunter. They ran into the hunter obviously, but then yeah, you have an elite and a brute. So
Are Bruce the one in red?
yep,
Okay.
he's got a gravity hammer. See,
Okay. Yeah.
so
Every single time, like, I hear this plan to go kidnap a prophet and then sue for peace. It just sounds dumber and dumber. Like, you're just guessing these things exist. You're gonna go find them, kidnap them, bring them back. You don't even know where they are. Like,
Yeah,
yep,
and then you assume that they care enough about this one prophet that you grab to like stop the whole war.
makes no sense.
Yeah.
Were they going to use them as like a bargaining chip, or were they going to? I thought they were just going to pump them for information.
I thought they were gonna like sue for peace.
Sue for peace.
yeah, they're gonna take him hostage, but yet take him hostage in his own world. Um, surrounded by millions of probably other people. It's
Why?
point is it's not
Why?
it's not a great plan. It's not a great plan.
Why doesn't the Covenant want humans to join the Covenant?
A good question. It's one I've been thinking about. I have no idea.
Dude, we're definitely cooler than the grunts and the jackals. Like, I feel like humans would be like a good addition to what they got going on.
Maybe they have like all their job descriptions filled and you know,
No openings. Economy is
no
done.
opening. Yeah. Do we ever find out at some point
Yeah,
in Halo lore? We
I
do
think
find
we
out?
do. I think we do.
Okay. Don't say anything.
Tom knows exactly why.
I do? No, I have no
Oh,
idea.
I'm sorry, Will. Will
Oh.
Will knows exactly why.
I vaguely, very vaguely. We'll get to it in like 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, the rate we're going, we'll get there eventually. Let's tune in for the Great Journey season 4 or whatever.
2027. Woo!
Yeah. Only other quick, I guess, difference from the book here was Kelly she is attacked by an elite and then gets like stabbed with an energy sword. I don't think that's what happened in the book either, right? She was just
No,
kind of shot.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they took the duel out, the Elite and Master Chief duel out of the comic.
Which was one of my favorite parts in the book. It's such a
Yeah.
awesome fucking fight. It's Linda, right? It's not Kelly.
You're right. Yep. Linda. Linda. Sorry.
It's okay.
Probably written down. Yeah, I guess she replaces that battle with the elite, the one-on-one in the comic, and is able to kill him, but obviously she's injured in the process. So
Mortally wounded.
mortally, huh?
Yeah.
Um, and then pretty much, I mean, it's basically the same, I guess, other than this little part where John, it's like John and Kelly on the surface of some planet.
Is that a
It's
dream?
it's like yeah, it's like one of them dream. It's like a dream sequence almost, or maybe it's actually when Cortana is accessing his memories and stuff. She comes across this one, and it's specifically John and Kelly like standing. You ever wonder what home is like? Sort of situation.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
So I guess little additions here that kind of touch on John's past, I suppose, or that he does dream. He actually is human. Is that what this means? I'm not sure.
I feel like it's a dream.
It's got to
Yeah,
be.
I really like this edition. It just helps, humanize him.
It's kind of yeah. It's kind of sad that Kelly's talking about maybe we can go home one day, and I don't think that's really in the cards for the life of a Spartan.
It's true. I think was a Tom, or it was either Robbie or Tom tonight said that the way they draw Cortana, like working a bunch of different things at once, is pretty cool. This whole like last section before the Halo is very well done, I think.
Yeah, I think Rob said that.
It's a cool way to visualize it.
Hmm.
I like some of the artistic interpretations they took in this comic.
Very cool.
Yeah. If we're wrapping up, I just want to reiterate how some of the artwork is just really awesome on some of these pages.
Yeah,
Like the heavy, dark lines, the shading makes everything look super gritty.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. I mean, the wrap up question was, overall thoughts. What'd you guys think of the comic um, overall? And you can compare it to the book or the movie we watched. So
I liked it a lot. I mean, we are like retreading the same basic story, um, but it still kept me engaged. The artwork, like I just said, it's splendid. So I liked it a lot.
Yeah, this
yeah,
was like many people, first comic I've ever read, so I enjoyed it. I mean, if I want to go by between the book, the comic, and the movie, which ones I'd prefer, I'd say the book, then this comic, and then the movie by far easily last.
I I second that.
Yeah, you can just leave out the movie.
uh, we covered that. We beat that horse. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Will, it's essentially I mean, I think that the comic here was pretty faithful to a lot of the stuff in the book. They omitted some stuff, but then it was also cool when we talked it up, the stuff that they did add. Again, context to the greater universe. I really appreciate that, and I liked it very much overall. So, anyone else? Alrighty. We'll move on to our tournament this week. It's tournament time. With our discussion over, we'll pick up the battle. The results of last week's match are as follows: Will with 26 points, James with 23, Robbie with 22, Tom with 18, Charlie tied with Tom. It's on. And Jimbo with 9 points.
Ouch.
Not entirely your fault, though. I mean, we've changed the night, some meetings, so I can't blame you for that. However, Robbie was our come from behind winner last week, I think, with like
Woo.
only a few points to spare. Tell us, Robbie, what are we going to play today?
Well, I was really hoping for 6 players tonight because I wanted to do a little homage to the first lesson John really learned about teamwork, that you could be the best, but doesn't mean shit if your team doesn't win. I wanted to do Team Slayer, where the top scorer on the winning team would be the winner, and the lowest scoring player on the loser team would be the loser. But since we got 5, I like the Crazy King. That was fun. I want to do that on Halo 3 at Guardian.
Oh, geez, that's a tight map to do that on.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be fun.
Much cool. Yeah, I'm bummed. That sounds like fun, the team thing. So eventually.
Sometime. Hopefully, maybe somebody could do it in the future. We'll see.
Alrighty. For next time, we'll be watching the live action promotional videos for Halo Reach, and we're going to be playing the first 2 missions of the game, Noble Actual and Winter Contingency. Quick before we sign off here, what are you guys excited about as we finally get to a Halo game?
Halo Reach is fucking awesome, so I'm excited to dive into that.
Has anyone here not played Reach before?
I have not done the campaign, at least.
Ah.
I'm excited to check it out and just see any sort of pick up on any references from the Fall of Reach storyline. So that's what I'm excited about.
It'll be cool to actually know the characters in the game, because all the other Halo games, it's just kind of you get dropped into the middle of it, at least from my perspective, and you don't really have any background with any of the characters. But this will be cool to play it with some kind of emotional investment already built in.
The music is amazing. The story, it's so hopeless. It's good stuff.
Well, yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite installments. And I think it is the last installment that Bungie was a part of. So
Yeah.
cool. Well, like I said, first 2 missions of Halo Reach coming up. We're gonna finally get into the games. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and we hope to see you back next week for another installment of Great Journey.
The Great Journey.
Hey, it's Will, one of your hosts here on The Great Journey. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to connect with us, you can find us on most podcast platforms, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Great Journey Pod. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/The Great Journey Pod. Thank you for your listenership, and we'll hope to see you on the next chapter of The Great Journey.
Oh, there's your camera. So I'm not going to be the only one. Fuck you.